I'm going to take 5 or so minutes at the beginning of this video to touch on some things people have asked and take care of some channel business. We are 1 month short of our 2-year anniversary, and in that time, we've grown from, 0 subscribers basically to over 40,000, almost 10 million views. Some people, especially the new folks, are unaware of the origins of the Florida Maquis and how we came to be. So I thought the picture of the glass of wine would be a great place to start so that you could grab one and sit back and we will tell you how things started. Long ago, I put out a video talking about the Electoral College and how it would be possible to change the outcome of voting through the Electoral College. Well, some Trumpanzees got wind that I was putting out videos saying that even though the vote in their state went for the current administration, that those in the establishment and their electors could reverse that. And they couldn't get me to shut up on YouTube about it, so they decided, since at that time the channel was my name, to find me personally and then go after my daughter at her work locally here to send a message to me to get me to shut up on YouTube. So her losing her job, having to move to another state, my other daughter having to be moved to yet another state, and the complete breakup of my family because of the Trumpanzees is the reason the Florida Maquis exists. We have continued to tell the truth, and now without fear, but what a lot of people didn't understand is that my better half and I were Army intelligence, and while she was a cryptologist, I took my training here at Fort Huachuca, Arizona. This is where they take soldiers and turn them into weapons that can send psychological rounds downrange through generations and destroy people's minds, destroy entire political systems using psychological warfare. Now, it's not what I'd signed up for. I wanted to be an artillery guy, but I had taken a lot of foreign language in high school, and so they decided, after I had entered, to change my MOS before I even went to basic training. So that's how I ended up down here. And to those of you that have sent me warnings saying you need to watch your back and you need to be careful because of this, blah, 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 believe me, after you go through the United States Army interrogation school at Fort Huachuca, Arizona, there are things so much worse than death out there, and you lose your fear of just about everything. Now, if anyone wants to go after me, I got no problem with that. I have long said the audience of the Florida Maquis is what makes the channel successful. The most intelligent, well-informed audience on YouTube. One reason that I heavily redact the comments section is not because I give a rat's ass what people think about me. If there's going to be a place where people can come and feel safe contributing original, intelligent thought, I would like it to be here. And that's why I redact a lot, because everyone is aware of the paradigm. They go watch a video and it's about something controversial or new, and they're like, I would love to contribute, but then they go down to the comment section and they see the trolls destroying everybody, and they're like, you know what, I don't need this headache, and they move on. When they could have maybe contributed something worthwhile. So that's why I have a ton of filters and I delete a lot of stuff. And sometimes good folks get caught up in those filters, and I apologize for that. If you put links, coordinates, this type of thing, it automatically goes into held for review. If you copy paste the same comment over and over and over again, it's going to go into spam, and I will more than likely block you for doing that stuff. If you are another channel that is attempting to boost your views by putting comments in underneath my videos, yeah, you're going to be done. I didn't grow this channel that way. I didn't go to huge channels and start commenting all over the place so that people would follow the Florida Maquis. I grew the channel organically, and you can too if you do the work. If you see, and this goes to my subscribers, someone saying, oh my gosh, I have found this incredible amount of information, PM me and I will give you the blah, blah, blah information, it's phishing. And I've said this before, if you have that, put it in the comments. You know, I go through my held for review file a couple times a day and weed out the trolls and allow the good stuff to go through. And sometimes I miss things. Sometimes those folders can have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments. I do not give out my private email. I do not conduct any kind of one-on-one through Facebook or private message, and I don't do interviews or collaborations. Simply because the first time I tried to do that on here, it almost cost me the channel. And I'm not going to bore you with that story. So understand that the reason that we do things here, the way that we do them, has a purpose. Even the pointing the camera at the computer screen has a purpose. Even though to your eye it seems like the same thing, just low res, to an AI program, it's night and day between this and screen recording software. This is why we keep the trolls away. So that we can have an audience that when they see something that they want to comment and contribute on, even if what they're saying is maybe controversial or cutting edge or not popular, they're going to feel safe doing it because they know the trolls are going to be destroyed. And like I said, and another thing too, if your comment starts with Obama and Hillary, blah, 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 this, you're done. You're done. It's just, we're not going to get into that. We're not going to make everything about that. You know, and I could give you 1,000 iterations of what trolls do, and I don't want to waste a whole lot more of your time before we get down to Antarctica. But if you've decided to skip this entire section, I don't want to hear any complaints from those who did about why was my comment deleted or why am I blocked or all this kind of stuff, because I'm trying to cover all of that so that everybody knows the reasons why we do what we do here. I offer training here at the Patreon channel that will give you an insight into the type of training that I got at Fort Huachuca so many years ago about how people can reach into your mind and twist things around using psychological techniques and logic fallacies to make you believe something that's absolutely not true. And like I said, I have no problem if you want to attack me. But don't attack the subs. Don't attack the commenters. Don't like it? Don't watch. Don't care. Said it before. Goes back to 2 subs like it was 2 years ago. Such is life. That's how things go. Now, the one thing I will leave you with, as far as this part of the video goes, I've been here before multiple times, and I'm going to read this again. Many people are familiar with the French Maquis. Many people are familiar with the Maquis from Star Trek. But the most successful Maquis that ever existed was the Spanish Maquis. Very few people can name one battle in Spain during World War II. And this is just a quote from a book called The Undefeated. During the German occupation of France, the Spanish Maquis engineered more than 400 railway sabotages, destroyed 58 locomotives, dynamited 35 railway bridges, cut 150 telephone lines, attacked 20 factories, destroying some factories totally, sabotaged 15 coal mines, took several thousand German prisoners, and most miraculous, considering their arms, they captured 3 tanks. In the southwest part of France, where no Allied armies have ever fought, they liberated 17 towns. This was what was seen as a terrorist organization of its day. But they operated the reason they're called the Maquis is the word literally means the shrubs. They were invisible, and they remained that way. They were very hard to find, and they used intelligence, and they used networking to achieve their ends, not force of arms. So, 10 minutes. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. Found something enormous. Absolutely enormous down here. And I don't have any good explanation for it. I'm sure there probably is, but it's hidden in time. Because you can't see it in modern imagery, you have to find it in 2010. And it's this enormous red line that I have outlined here. And of course, we find all sorts of strange things around it. But I'll start down here in the middle of nowhere just to show you what I'm talking about. Now, time slider. We are at November 2012, and I don't think this is going to show up here. As you can see, it just looks like a red line out here in the middle of nowhere. But as we go back in time, 2011, 2010, give me 1 second. I've actually drawn my line directly over it in this particular part, but there are these, and they never uncover in high res. It looks like a giant hydroline, like a giant electrical tower. And what you see every 0.6 miles, and I'm circling this thing right here, are these 3 dark structures that are sticking up out of the snow. And sometimes if you turn it down into night, you can see the contrast, but there's a giant line of them. And I'll put the start and end locations for this, but it runs for 400 miles. No lie, 400 miles. I'm going to zoom out so maybe you can, I should have not drawn my line directly over them. I'm kind of regretting that right now. But as you can see, every about 0.6 miles, these things occur. And in some places it looks like they might have been damaged. But in no place, I have not found a place yet, where they uncover in high res what they are. And I'm going to zoom back out here to show you how far they go. It goes right through this site we're going to cover in a minute. But it tails off out here and ends at what is clearly some type of a tunnel structure under the ice. Like I said, this is December 2010 imagery. And let me zoom in here. Okay, so there they are. And like I said, I've turned it down up here next to the time slider. There's a thing where you can turn it from day to night. And it will contrast. For some reason, it contrasts better. You can see things that are hidden in the snow, of the dark and the light. And of course, I'm going to go forward real quick here. 2011, turn the lights back on. 2011, 2012, 2013, they disappear. And you cannot find these after 2013. It's only in the 10 and 11 layer that these appear. And like I said, you have to be looking really close to find these. And oddly enough, we'll go back down to this site. There is something odd down here as well. It's definitely human. Here's the crazy part. Now, here's our line right here. I'm going to turn the lights down a little bit so you can, there we go. And it goes through an area that kind of uncovers. And of course we find this hidden corner again. And you don't see them, but they do appear out the other edge in low res. About every 0.6 miles for 400 miles. But here's the crazy part, right? I'm going to turn the lights back up. All right, so this is 2010. So you see this thing out here in 2010, that's just the ice. And it looks like over here there might be the start of a runway. But watch what happens when you go forward. And to do this, I don't know if you guys are looking in the upper left. See how the time slider changes? You have to get not only the right time, the right location, but the right aspect. All right, here we go. Okay, see all the different lines that popped up here? And they disappeared again. Here's 2014. Does this look familiar? That's why I labeled it what I did. I don't know what's going on here, but to say that it's not connected to... See, there's another thing here that goes on for about 40 miles. And it looks like some kind of an antenna array. And then there's a path that goes off this way. And another path that comes down here. It looks like those tunnels we've been tracking for a long time. But here it looks like there's a collapse, because the tunnel changes direction. And it almost disappears. And this is the place where the high def for this ends. So very odd. And of course this ends, and I don't know if you can see this. There's a very distinct line here of something that's being covered up with imagery. And this is where this long 400-mile cable system ends down here. And I don't know if it's cable system. I don't know what these things are. But whatever it is, to create something this large would have taken an immense amount of effort. Even if they're just towers. 400 miles worth every roughly half mile. That's 800 tower sites. Even if you were going to be able to put up one a day, that's a almost 3-year project. And given that it doesn't show up after 2010 and 11, it was done prior. So clearly they put it there for a purpose and then are now hiding it with time. And it's an uninterrupted line. If I remember right, I think it's 215 degrees. This thing runs 35 to, depending on what direction you're going. 35, 215. And like I said, it runs right through a site where there's... You can either see this in 2010-11, or you can see this, for lack of a better description, slaughter site. So I know it's 20 minutes. I don't normally do videos this long, but The one last thing I want to show you guys is something pretty amazing. Now, I know it takes a little bit of looking at it, but this here looks to me like you have a head, you have a wing, you have another wing over here, and you have what looks like two legs and a face. It looks like a very large, it's either a statue of a large winged creature, human or humanoid type winged creature, or an actual one. One of the two. It's a very, very large thing, whatever it is, whether it's real or whether it's a statue or some type of a carving. But I'll put the link for this, and you can look at it for yourself, but it's right on the edge of a precipice. And we've found all sorts of strange pathways that have led to places where no human being would be. So the idea that there might be the ability for certain beings down here to fly from location to location is, I don't think, out of the realm of possibility. And it's in an area that we've covered before with different things, and I won't waste your time with that, but there have been a lot of things that I'm still looking at down here, and I was hoping to find one other one to show you, but 22 minutes. I don't think I'll waste a whole lot more of your time. But thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. I hope the earlier part of this video cleared everything up about why we do what we do, how I ended up where I'm at, and where we hope to go in the future. So just remember, there's always a right way of doing things and a wrong way of doing things, and we're going to try the very best we can here to do them the right way. So, like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.